Murderland with Jim and Ali Cook will not be seen tonight. Instead, we bring you Murderland 2, The Murdering, with Paul Mold, a tour de force.
Are you fucking crazy? That guy's dangerous!
And now, for our feature presentation, Cult of Contempt.
Dead bodies and missing organs have the city in turmoil.
Unsafe.
If Dr. Zama's responsible, I needed to know. So I had a chat with my usual contacts.
Are you fucking crazy? That guy's dangerous!
That went pretty stellar. That was it. 2 weeks, trail gone cold. Until suddenly, I got this weird message on my computer.
Hey, I'm Billy from Billy's Midway Arcade in Hawthorne, and this is a really cool arcade full of old classic arcade games, video games, pinball machines, air hockey, shuffle bowling. Keep them all running for your enjoyment.
I'd see that movie.
So the event for Paul's birthday.
Cult of Contempt.
Wow. Oh, in the house, his house.
This is Danny Gale, Gale Force Wins.
We're jiving live with Dan Galeota.
Woo! Nice.
This guy was not only in the Atom Beat, he was in Goba. He was briefly in the Strip Down Aces. He was. He does a lot of solo projects, including a tribute album to the sequel to Rocky Horror.
That's right, not Rocky Horror, the sequel to Rocky Horror, because, you know.
Which is actually, apparently, Dan used to date a very beautiful woman who was a very good singer, and she did all the girl parts, and they're really good.
Yeah, all the treatment.
Shock Treatment.
Have you seen
Shock
the name of
Treatment?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, we should say
I only saw Shock Treatment like twice in my life.
Ah.
I haven't
The
watched
music
it
is just as good as Rocky's music, but the story's not as good because there was a writer's strike at the time. So the movie was just kind of slapped together in one place instead of on location.
I'll give you my CD right now. Give it. That's for you, buddy. That's for you. I don't know if you and do people.
There are a lot of people you know on that record. Alana's on it, Allie's on it, I'm on it, Ant is singing on it.
Dennis.
What
and Aaron.
about people I like?
I'm.
Phil's not on it though.
I am. I was in the chorus.
You were in the chorus.
He's in the course. We had a party just for people to do Dentons.
Thanks for remembering.
Hey man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you really must have been.
You made an impression, Phil. I'm sorry.
And if you don't know this, Dan is going to be juggling fire sticks at the Renaissance Fair, which is why he's dyed his goatee pink. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So
It's pink when he turns up the lights.
that's right.
Nothing to do with breast
Why are
cancer
you
awareness
talking?
month.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
Breast cancer awareness month.
Breast
Were
Cancer
you
Awareness
transitioning to
Month.
that, or were you just?
I was just jiving, but no. Yes, it was plans. We planned this all along.
Oh, okay.
You're not
Not
even
really.
talking. You don't even know.
All right. Well, we're on the subject of breast cancer awareness. I think we're aware it exists. Can we
Yes.
put the money towards a cure? Hey, wait, are you checking me?
A little.
Because we just had
Small
an HR
circles.
meeting. You're not supposed to.
Work your way out.
You're not supposed to touch me inappropriately when it's not permissioned.
Wait,
I said that
this HR
terribly.
meeting.
Because you were too busy fucking somebody and you were late, so you missed it. We had an HR meeting. We talked about our bodies, our blossoming bodies.
God, what I was doing was much better.
Practicing for Movember.
I want to see Jim Cook grow a mustache
Yeah,
from over
I think it would be excellent if you grew a mustache.
Can you?
It's gonna be a freaking Hogan, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's the best part, brother.
I'm gonna hear Hulk Hogan jokes from you two idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should shave the top of your head.
I am not shaving the top of my head. What if it doesn't grow
That's
back?
what I want for my birthday. I want you to come as Hulk Hogan
And grow the back out.
from WrestleFest.
Oh yeah, that is one of the games.
Yeah,
there.
that is one of the games.
I'm
there.
not very good at that one.
I will get you a canary jumper.
I was
If
gonna.
you do this.
I was gonna dress as a clown and play Mr. Do, and like challenge people.
Could you, hey brother, how about instead you dress as Hulk Hogan? Let me tell you something, brother. Come on.
But
you
I'm
can
better
do
at
it.
Mr. Do than I am at the Hulk Hogan.
Jim, you're the only one that can pull off Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, we don't know any other people with a blonde mustache.
Help me.
Do I have to wear?
You're my only hope.
Do I have to wear a jumpsuit and buy the
Like,
shoes?
you just have to wear yellow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe I could find a Hulkamania shirt. Somebody's
Probably.
probably made a knockoff one.
Or somebody can sew it for you.
I'm working on.
then
I'm
you
working
have to
on getting
tear
a
it apart.
seamstress, but she never got
I
back to
have
me.
one that would tear off of you itself.
Really? You got like a pre-ripped one?
No, it's a small. Rip off.
I don't know. I get squeezed into some pretty tight spaces.
It's like Hulk Hogan, but it's been a few years. He let himself go and stuff like that. Bulging out of the thing everywhere.
What should I do?
You know, brother, I really like the Malamars.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Yeah, you
That's
can
not
do
bad.
it. You can pull off the Hulkster, man.
That's good, man. I like it.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vitamins, and eat your Ovaltine.
Let's get you to the tanning booth.
I'm Hulk Hogan, and I'm here to tell you about diabetes.
I'll be macho, man.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
But you're not very macho.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, you just gotta borrow Carl's cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's it.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Slim
the
Jim.
best-
Ah!
That's the best macho man I've ever heard.
Is it?
Actually, really good.
I think my
Yeah!
balls just
A
descended.
man in my position can do great things. Elizabeth, don't go shopping without me. I don't know.
He used to neg Elizabeth during interviews with Mean Gene, and she would talk to Mean Gene, and he'd be like, "Mean Gene, don't talk to my wife, you son of a bitch." And Mean Gene would just sit there all like straight down.
Mean Gene, don't talk to my wife, you son of a bitch. I wish he said it like that.
Yeah,
Or I shall slap you, you rapscallion.
Mean Gene, don't talk to my wife, you son of a bitch.
I made that sound.
damn
I made
hands
Macho
off her.
Man Randy Savage sound like a pussy. I can't believe I did that.
I'm Randall Savage. It's not Randy anymore.
Randall Savage.
Wait, he's dead, right? Savage.
Yeah.
He died in a car crash, right?
Was it?
Right? Like
don't
he was
remember.
like a coke fueled car crash, and it was like his body was full of drugs.
That's a great way to go.
I don't know if that's how it was. I thought he just died of a heart attack.
Right.
But maybe
But I
it
think
was
he
a
was driving.
coke-fueled car crash.
The Macho Man.
Bugging out. I don't know. Maybe.
I'd make for a good movie.
Fucking, I saw Hulk Hogan at the heart doctor. Fuck him.
It's all mad.
They really
Going 150
they were
miles an
really
hour.
hitting each other. He had a rap like negging Hulk Hogan.
Man, Hogan.
Yeah.
Do you think he was like playing Ace of Spades, going 150 miles an hour, and his heart just gave out?
Poor
He was
bastard.
running 150 miles an hour.
Why don't people do coke anymore? Is it because of all the energy drinks?
Oh, more people do coke than
I
you
don't think
think.
you need to do coke anymore.
There's a lot of people doing coke out there. Actually, do you know that there are
Why are you
studies
talking
that
so fast?
I don't know.
Why are you always late?
There are studies
And why are you
that
always running in a circle in the house going, I do drugs so I can earn more. So I can do more drugs. I'm sorry.
come on, it's really interesting when I go on rants in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's great.
They test, the sewage that comes out of cities, and they can tell what kind of drugs people are doing in the cities.
Oh.
They test it for all kinds of stuff like that. There's actually a lot of cocaine coming out of Seattle and a lot of other cities.
Really?
Yeah, this area too, I'm sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why would they even think to do that?
Because it's
I thought it was an expensive
great
way to
evidence.
have
Yeah, I guess
a
so.
post-nasal drip. But we used to sprinkle it in the weed back in college, and that was a weird high.
It's called freebasing.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I worked at Friendly's, and we had to empty the whipped cream canisters. So we would take them out back and suck all the gas out of them and
Dude.
disappear for 45 minutes. And sometimes I ended up in the walk-in box for no reason.
We had very similar experiences because I worked for a coffee company in the 90s, and we used to take the whippet things.
Oh, yeah?
I used to trade them for weed.
Nice.
But back in those days when people were growing, like, you'd get like this much weed, and they're like, oh, it's really good stuff though, so that's $25. I'm like, fuck you.
Uh,
Yeah.
but then
I'm
again,
like,
you were getting that shit for free, so
Right.
you can't complain that much, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. Somebody sold me phony acid too. I was very disappointed about that. I never got to do acid.
We just like on a whole
Regret
nother level.
that?
What's that?
Do you regret that you never did acid? Or do you
don't know.
feel like maybe you dodged a bullet?
I think I would have wrote the best songs of my life like Sid Barrett did when he did acid.
But look what happened to Sid Barrett.
Yeah, he went into a mental institution and had all the time in the world to write, to master his
I don't
songs.
think everybody should do hallucinogenics, but I also think that they can be a vehicle for self-change and self-discovery. I myself have done acid more than 12 times, so I'm supposed to be legally insane. Yet I'm holding down a successful job as an executive in Manhattan. So I don't think it really...
Way to go,
ruins your-
Phil.
That
I think it really ruins your
You
brain.
give drugs a good name.
But I'm just saying that if you do it like a shaman, who's like investigating something, or a lot of people are using ayahuasca now instead of psychoanalysis to try to get through childhood trauma and shit. And for some
Oh, that's a
people, it really
cactus,
works.
right?
It'll make you throw up.
Is that a cactus?
No, that's peyote.
Oh, what's ayahuasca?
It's like a drink from the fucking Amazon. It makes you sick as anything, but you trip fucking balls like super hard. It'll fuck you up. And like, there's a bunch of people doing it in Manhattan now. People fly down to the Amazon and pay like thousands of dollars to have this experience.
Don't you need to have a special shaman? Yeah, to do it like
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, just to make it, there's like ingredients from all over the forest and shit. You can't just make that in your kitchen.
That's like some fucking Zelda, like Legend of Zelda shit.
And yet people are doing it.
Fight a fucking sea monster and shit.
Yeah, people in Silicon Valley are microdosing like fucking mushrooms now and stuff like that in order to try to get creative ideas for software and stuff like that. There's a whole movement.
Oh, it's super. I'll tell you, drugs super help with coding. Like,
Do they really? How so?
I smoke weed and I'll just think like, what if I made a game that was like this? And I could just code like a skeleton of it together. It's not like any graphics, but it's like squares, like doing what I want them to do. Like, okay, this one moves this way, like puzzle games, weird shit.
Yeah.
I haven't come up with anything good. But it definitely helps when it's like, when that's your palette of like what you know how to do.
Right. It puts you in a different mode of thinking, and that can make you think more creatively sometimes. But I wouldn't say that it's for everyone, and I think that a lot of ancient cultures had rituals around it that kind of made it a controlled thing, and people had reverence for it. And when we removed all that, and it was just about quote unquote getting high, that's when an issue happened. I think there was a sociological shift.
Getting fucked up.
Getting fucked up.
Well, yeah.
People like in the Andes chew on coca leaves all the time, but when you make it concentrated cocaine, that's when it really fucks people's lives up and shit like that. like it's part of their traditions. It's part of their marriage ceremonies and shit like that. And it's one of the reasons why they can ingest oxygen in that high altitude. Actually.
Wow.
It's like a class on drugs today.
I learned that Phil knows a lot about drugs.
I know a lot about drugs.
So he's like that Fear and Loathing suitcase in the back of his car.
It's like
with
sex,
the
drugs, and rock and roll.
42 Quaaludes, and and Hunter's like reading off the exact number of a pound of weed.
A pound of weed is a pound of weed.
Psychedelic Phil.
Hey now, I like that. Woo!
He'd make a pretty good Hunter S. Thompson, and I think we should dress up like Santos is the lawyer.
Good Charles Bronson.
Hey Ma, can I have some cookies? No dice.
Everyone, I would shoot you with a wielding.
Now I'm gonna
Death Wish
fix
2.
Emmett.
Death Wish 3.
Which was the best one?
Death Wish 3.
Yeah?
Which is the one where the woman gets raped while holding her groceries? That one was disturbing.
Death Wish 3.
This woman's got a bag of groceries and there's like Malamars coming out of the bag and she's getting banged. It's
And
weird.
then he fucking murders everybody. In a quiet, subdued way. I shot him. It's great.
Your Charles Bronson's a little Garth.
My Charles Bronson's a little stunning.
The other day, I was here early and he's playing Morrissey. And he's like singing along in his Morrissey voice. I was like, why are you doing Vincent Price doing Morrissey? Now he's going to make a whole album of it.
This is something I've learned from listening to all these episodes. You like Morrissey. You're
No, I
afraid to
respect.
say it, I think, but I think
I
you like
don't.
Morrissey.
No, it's not really a Morrissey. It's more the Smiths.
The Smiths,
Like
yeah.
I got into the Smiths because like I don't
Girls
know.
liked him, right?
Yeah, I got so much pussy.
Why do you think I know all the glam bands? Like, it's the same thing.
Somebody gave me a dirty look last week when I called Nick Cave and what was the other band? I think Arcade
Betsy.
Fire, sad girl music.
Nick Cave, you think is sad girl music?
His later stuff is not Red Right Hand. That's a great song, and it's in Pinky Blinders.
When you say sad girl, are you talking about anybody in particular?
I'm just saying, like, if you look at like sad girls, there's like a certain genre of music, like.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's a certain genre of sad girls. Sad.
These are sad about their daddy issues. These are sad about their financial issues.
No.
These can't
I
go to
always thought
college.
sad girls listen to shoegaze.
Sad girls.
That's people on
listen to
heroin.
shoegaze.
What's that difference between emo and goth, right? Is that
I never understood the
Makeup.
difference.
Yeah, clothes. Maybe the emo kids started wearing fucking like neon colors and shit. They looked like peacocks. And then the goths started doing it too, but they looked like Cyrax from like Mortal Kombat. They weren't hair. They weren't dreads. They're just like plastic things coming out of their head, like the
Yeah.
But then there was
Predator.
the vampire cosplay phenomenon that was going on where these kids were playing the actual live action vampire stuff and the kids would show up to school dressed as vampires and shit, so they got like thrown in the mix and mixed up with the goths.
Vampire girls are kind of hot.
Or at least
though.
according to South Park.
Actually, goth girls are hot too.
I don't think South Park is an accurate source of information.
It's not? I thought they know everything.
I think they parody stuff.
But like there were these goth kids and they blew up Hot Topic because they were selling the vampire kids their clothing. I don't know. They got mad about it. And the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe follows him around and he's a douche that smokes a cigarette.
I recently saw SLC Punk. Did you guys ever see that movie?
I fucking hate that.
Matthew
was like-
Lillard, right? I don't like that guy. He gives me douche chills.
Yeah, it's kind of a douche chilly movie.
That is the movie when I was in high school. When we went on the ski trip where like everybody just fucked each other and nobody skied in a church youth group. It was
Nice.
like a church youth group for
Yeah, nothing like a church youth group. Just to get a blowjob in a hotel. But anyway, what the hell did you say?
SLC Punk.
SLC Punk.
Yeah.
That was the movie they all wanted to watch on the bus. And it was like, fuck that
Watch a
movie.
movie on the bus?
Because there's all these punk kids that were like, oh yeah, we love SLC Punk. Like, we saw that a million times. It's like, these kids don't know shit about punk. It's like, if you ask them who like Richard Hell and the Voidoids is, they're like,
Who?
What? Who's Susie and the Banshees? Like, they have no fucking idea. They know like Blink-182 and fucking like Green Day, like all this bullshit. So the fucking counselor, he ran a punk label, so he's like, no, we're not fucking watching SLC Punk. We watch fucking Dirty Work. Fuck that.
Dirty Work is a far better movie.
But doesn't that?
Right?
No, I was. listening to an episode again. I'm 2 months behind on the episodes. I'm trying to catch up here. You know, I'm trying to outdo you,
He's
and
our-
Decker.
he's our
I want to get
librarian.
all the episodes.
You're the archivist.
You hear that, Lindsay? You
That's
better
right.
step up your game
That's right,
because
Lindsay.
Dan is coming.
That's right. But you guys were talking about punk rock credibility at some point, you know, and if that's a thing, and you're talking about how you never heard of Richard Hell and the Void, you never heard of, but what then what qualifies you?
Well, it's
to
like,
be-
I don't know.
Whatever this guy
I think
Tim
about-
tells you.
No, I think about it as like, I don't know. I heard about bands, right? And I would like look them up. I'm like, okay, Green Day, like Stiff Little Fingers was like a band that they like got thrown around about them.
Right.
So like I checked out Stiff Little Fingers. The Offspring covered The Damned. So I'm like, who's this band that they're covering that's like writing songs this good? Like,
Well, Smash It Up was the cover, right?
yeah. So I was like, that's a fucking awesome song. So I checked out The Damned and I fucking love The Damned.
Right.
TSOL was like the same kind of thing. Like my friend showed me TSOL. He's like, yo, you like the Misfits, right? Like, yeah. He's like, check this out. And he showed me TSOL. I was like, fucking, this is great. Like, there's other music from that time that's actually like this. And to me, it's like, that's what punk rock was like that time. It's like anything that's after that, like Green Day's pop punk. Like,
Exactly.
I don't think Blink-182 is a
I don't think
punk
Offspring was meant to be pop punk.
I
They
think
became it.
Offspring walks the
That
line.
Epitaph label was a punk label. It had Pennywise, had them. There's two other
Well, they
groups.
had
but-
Nitro
Their
too. They
first two records are fantastic, and then they just dropped the fuck
But they
off.
started, I feel like, as an honest to goodness punk band. Like that was what they were into. Like was like punk,
That Ignition
punk
record.
shit. You
Oh
know,
my
like punk rock,
God,
old school
so
punk
good.
rock. Like I think-
Session. Oh my god.
I don't want to
So
say
good.
that I'm trying to write good old school punk rock all the time either, but it's like that's what I love, man. Is
Right.
The old school shit. Like
You don't think the
Oh, yeah.
Offspring is more of Offspring was more of a skater punk?
I think they were a skate band too, but I think they were straight up like, I don't know, their first two albums definitely are like straight up.
I thought the
Jennifer
Ignition
Lost
record-
the War, like all that
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
that's on there, and Beheaded.
I feel like that's like there's a second wave of punk rock, and a lot of it was influenced by kind of the California sound, and actually the Descendants. A lot
Yeah.
of like No Effects and like Offspring and a lot of those
Black Flag
bands.
Descendants.
Early,
yeah, exactly,
early
yeah.
suicidal tendencies, LA skate punk.
Yep.
Especially the first record with.
I heard one
Institutionalized.
No Effects. I heard Fat Mike talking about he went to like a fucking Descendant show and he never heard anyone play that fast before, and that like blew his fucking mind.
Yeah, it's.
But
I don't know. That's what I.
Drummer in the Descendants. What the heck was that?
Oh,
guy's name?
Stephen.
That
No,
was really
Bill
good.
Stevens.
Really good.
Yeah, is that what it was? Bill
Dude,
Stevens?
that guy's a beast.
Yeah, that
Did you
drummer
watch the
is-
documentary?
No, I did not know there was one.
There's a great Descendants documentary
Nice.
out there, and basically that they have two bands, the Descendants, It's
And
the
All.
Descendants and All.
All, yeah, sure.
And
I
nobody-
actually heard All before I heard the
I
Descendants.
love
believe it or
All.
not.
I think All.
All
is
Right
so
for Prez.
fucking
It's a
good.
Yeah.
great record. I love that. I like it more than any Descendants.
you
record.
let me all right for Prez. Like the
love it.
first time we hung out, and I didn't care for it.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear
That's
I
like
was very fickle then.
No.
and yet you still stuck with me as a friend. Thanks. I appreciate that.
no. I think like
I
All.
blew it on our first date, and he said he doesn't kiss on the first date too. He actually said that.
Yeah.
He's a total whore.
I said,
We went to the Burger King.
was
The
like,
OG
hey, you like
Simpson
that
trial.
trial?
I'm sorry. It's a really sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
The OG Simpson trial was going on, but back in those days, like Burger King, like they advertised on the receipt and it said "try an
try an OJ. And
I was like, look, OG's on trial.
But I said, let's go get some lunch. Go to Burger King. I said, okay, but I don't kiss on the first date.
yeah.
That's how I knew this guy would be.
That
my
was
friend.
my way of trying to be cool. But yeah.
That's the start.
Totally worked. Okay,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Well, yeah. What year was that?
94.
Oh, okay. That was kind of like the post-homophobia years, because if you said that to somebody in like '88, you would have got punched in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Would have just been on the
West Island in
sidewalk
90,
bleeding.
91.
In my high school, you still would have got popped in the face probably, and then
This
they would
was
have said, "I'm not
college."
homophobic."
Yeah, no, that's in college. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all
You know, we
in.
were trying funny things and we were smoking funny things.
I
Oh, look at that.
Swinging, singing, Sweet Home Alabama.
I derailed an
Nice.
entire conversation about punk rock.
Sorry.
I know I did. I suck.
Can I actually ask another question? Because again, I'm going in for all of
Yeah,
my
go for it.
all the greatest hits. 'Cause
Let's do
I've
it.
been all right. People walking, teenagers walking around with Misfits shirts and things like that. That seems to bother you because you feel like they don't listen to the Misfits and they're just
They're
wearing
fucking
a shirt.
posers,
and
all
posers. Okay.
I think you should at least own an album of something you wear. You should own an entire album, well, at least one.
Okay.
Or I'll even let you get away with like a single.
So, okay, so what do you think is the impetus behind somebody wearing a Misfits shirt just because they think it looks cool?
Yeah.
Or they just like the picture of the skull?
And they somehow think that they're associating with rebellion, but now it's just a fucking corporate bullshit deal. Like, that doesn't have anything. You used to get your ass kicked back in the day if you were a fucking...
One time I
wearing
fucked
that
a
shirt.
girl because she wore a Legacy of Brutality shirt
That's
that said
awesome.
boob holder. I'm like, this girl's cool. She's wearing
Hell
a
yeah.
Legacy of Brutality shirt.
Fuck
That's like
yeah.
their shittiest album. You know, like that's cool. She has
I love this chick. She has bad taste. Oh man, that means she's easy.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, so after I fucked her, I'm like, oh, so you like Legacy of Brutality? She's like, oh no, I never listened to that. Like I like the Michael Graves stuff.
Oh, boy.
And then I
And then you kicked her out.
for 2 years because she was hot. And then,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Paul, I'm going to guess, from the way you talk about your past with women and what you like about women, what you do, you've never been turned down, right? You
I've been
suffer
turned
from
down
good-looking
before.
guy syndrome, where you just don't know what it's like to get turned down. Right?
I've been turned down before.
Stop. Really?
I've been shot down. One time, I tried to fuck this waitress at the Nutley Diner because we just went there all the time. We'd always just chain smoke and drink coffee.
Right, and you just assume
So
they
you
were
thought, what
friends.
the hell?
We just assumed like, yeah, the waitress is hot. She's real nice to us. Like, maybe I could bang her. My friend kept telling me like, yeah, I think she's into you. Like, she keeps looking over at our table.
I goaded you.
Why wouldn't she be? That's her fucking job.
Yeah. I wonder if those guys have coffee. See, she looked again.
The
She looked
waitress
again.
close to me.
Yeah. So then one time he's like, yo, you should do it. I'm like, all right. So she's like, oh, can I get you anything else? I'm like, yeah, your phone number.
So smooth.
And she's like, oh no, that's my boyfriend. And then she pointed at the cook, and he just looked over and like waved. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I was shot down once.
Okay, you were shot down because she had a boyfriend, so okay, but...
I mean,
Shut down.
Shut down.
if I was Brad Pitt, she would have gone into my limo, and I would have
Yeah,
fucked
it's
her.
not like he's got a magic penis and every girl just like
I don't know
comes
this.
out and
How
he's
do you
like
know this?
tootling it like a. Like, this is weird.
Yeah, you made it weird by saying 2 words: magic penis.
Although I have to tell you, an unnamed source told me that you are actually a sweetheart. See, you come across as a jerk sometimes on the podcast here, because I listen, but I only know you now
He's
through this,
lying, this
and you
guy.
play the jerk. But somebody told me that you're actually a sweetheart. Is this true?
Yo, it's all lies.
No, he's a dick. He
I'm a
like as soon as the
monster
show's
of
over, he's
God.
like, get the fuck out.
Fuck out.
And like I forgot my
I'll
shoes.
make
And
the
you're
blood
like,
run
here's your
off the
fucking
wall.
shoe, and he throws.
Like Glenn Danzig.
It's got a dark little heart.
I heard a great Glenn Danzig story. That he one time he had a big pile of bricks in his yard,
Yeah.
and his neighbors were like none too pleased about it. And like there was this guy that like lived like across the street and like kind of blog about it. Like, I think my neighbor is Glenn Danzig, and he like wrote this blog, and it was actually true. He like took pictures of the house. He's like, yeah, it's this fucking weird house. And he took pictures of the guy like going in and like kind of looked like him or whatever. And he said one day he's outside his yard and he just hears somebody throwing like. He hears clunk, clunk. You like that, motherfucker? Oh, man. They asked him to get rid of the bricks in his front yard, so he's throwing them into the dumpster as loud as he can, just screaming at the neighbor's house. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I think that's like that's what I hope is.
It ought to be true, right?
Yeah,
But
it
if it's
better
not,
be.
yeah. It's got to be true.
With his leather jacket, just throwing bricks as loudly as he can.
Doing that bellow that he does that you're just doing.
You like that movie?
That guy can bellow. He can bellow like nobody's business.
Yeah, I love Glenn Danzig's voice. I only like when Glenn Danzig does it.
Right.
Yeah. I get so fucking aggravated, like with bands that come out, it's like, if somebody sends me their shit online, like, hey, check out my band, like I always try to listen to it, like I have a genuine, I want it to be good, and then it's like if I see a guy in like skeleton makeup, I'm like, all right, that's 1 point off, but maybe they'll be fucking awesome. Like, but I've had enough of dudes and skeletons at this point in my life. But then if the guy sings like Danzig, you know, like a fake Danzig, I just turn it off. Like a cold fucking human being. Like it's like I shut down. Like, oh, I can't.
Because they're only trying to channel Glenn Danzig. What they don't realize is that Glenn Danzig channeled Elvis.
And that's when I did American Nightmare.
Roy
That's what I
Orbison,
tried to do.
Johnny Cash. That's the thing. It's like I got into like I found out like Danzig was into like Lou Reed, Orbison, Johnny Cash, like all these fucking people. I'm like, oh, who are these people? And then I looked at my parents' CD collections, like, oh, they got Lou Reed. Like, I'll steal this. They won't know. I haven't heard them listen to it. You know, fucking. I started like pilfering from my parents' shit and like looking through their records and like, oh wow, like Connie Francis is one like I got into, and I'm like,
nice.
I fucking love Connie Francis.
Great.
I have like so many of her records. There's some stuff by like the Police even that's kind of like I think like punk rock. That
Absolutely.
I stole from my parents. I'm like, this is fucking actually better than I thought it would be.
Have you ever heard the Less Than Zero soundtrack?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, the song that Glenn Danzig wrote for Roy Orbison on that.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Amazing.
Like Fades Away.
Haunting. Yeah, and it just gets inside of your soul. And, oh man, you really. But that whole album is this crazy mishmash of stuff. I mean, Aerosmith's on it, Slayer is on it.
You know the
Joan
song
Jett
that
is on
Danzig
it.
wrote that's on that album? He wrote that for a chick to sing.
The one that he sang.
The one that
You
he
and me?
sang.
Really?
And they fucking heard that and they're like, why would we have somebody else sing this?
I can't imagine
like this is
anyone
such
else singing it.
a great demo. Like just finish this. Like
Wow.
Yeah, like
You and Me, Less Than Zero.
yeah, that's like such a fucking that's an amazing compliment. Like that guy kind of released some albums like I loved and kind of released some albums that I couldn't tell you what the songs are on and I don't listen to them. I don't like them. Like the industrial shit. Like he
Can't
gets
Speak from Lucifuge.
Oh, God.
Lucifuge. I couldn't tell you what's on Lucifuge.
Yeah, right. Can't Speak. That was the one.
That was one of the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started getting like I remember one song, Angel Blake lives by the lake. It's like, I don't know about this. Like, I love Glenn Danzig and I love the Misfits. Like I'm so psyched to go see the Misfits this weekend. This is the slowest fucking week of my life. I'm gonna go see the
Oh, it's this weekend?
Garden. Cool. Yeah. Rancid, The Damned, like
Cool.
I'm like charged up, you know?
Are you worried that it's not just a shell of their former selves,
Listen.
though? Or is it just enough that it's them?
It's at this point, it's precipitated by a lawsuit to
Nice.
settle merchandising rights. So it's not because they love it, okay?
Or each other, for that
Or
matter.
each other.
Yeah.
They're making fucking bank.
Right.
I respect them. I've always wanted to see like Glenn Danzig front the Misfits. I got to see it at Prudential Center. I'm gonna go see it at Madison Square Garden. It's just like fucking. I don't know. That's the shit to me.
Yeah.
Are we keeping you up, Jim?
Yeah, wow. I've never gone in the show before.
I feel like that's me. I'm sorry. Gentlemen, do your thing. I will
Yeah.
not.
No.
I'm so sorry for intruding.
I'm in between drugs and I tried a new CBD oil, and so things are just like working themselves out. And I probably shouldn't have had that beer.
Yeah. I was gonna give you another beer too.
Fuck it, give it to
All
me.
right. Well, can I preface it with something? Can I do something with you with the beer? If you'll have it, if you're okay. It involves your Richard Dreyfuss impression.
Okay.
So I was listening to the July shows, and Jim's love of Jaws, watching Jaws every year, came out talking about that. I knew this, of course, and you do a Richard Dreyfuss. So I thought maybe we could get Jim to do a scene from Jaws, if he can remember and recite it, with Quint. The scene where he chugs the Narragansett Ale, which is what I brought for you
Oh, God,
today.
what does he say? You're too damn ignorant.
Would
to know when to admit when you are
Do you-
wrong.
I've got a script for you.
As long as he's okay.
I've got a script for you here. Hooper is the Richard Dreyfuss
Is there
character. You could be
stage
Brody.
directions?
I could be
You
Brody.
could be Brody.
I like that Phil's Brody.
Yes.
On page 1 here.
No, you're gonna start from there because it kind of.
Start pretty light.
Yeah.
Keep that chum line going. We've got 5 good miles. Don't break it.
Who's driving? Who's driving the
Nobody.
boat?
We're drifting with the currents.
So why am I doing a motorboy sound?
Nothing.
Hell, in the old days, we went out with the good charts, good sounding lead, and a damn good compass. Nowadays, these kids are afraid to go out with their depth finders, radar, radio electric toothbrush. They're a stupid thing.
Here it comes.
Okay.
Do it.
Be careful. Maybe just fake it. Got the rest of the show to do there, pal. Wow, it's genuine concern. I love you.
I kind of want to like rub his
Crush it. You gotta crush it. Yeah.
You never saw me do
No, I just wanted to be good.
Oh, whatever, dude.
That's not the script.
Get a fresh barrel.
Watch it. Compressed air. You screw around with one of those and boom. Careful, huh?
Real fine stuff, but it won't mean a thing to Mr. Whitey, of course. He didn't go to schools or electronics. He was born with what he does best, eat. He's swimming appetite. Of course, he might eat the stuff, but then I've got him eating rocking chair.
All right.
2.
Nicely done.
Nice.
Nicely done. That's all I wanted, my friend.
We're gonna need a bigger script.
Easy for you. They've got the brain of the size of a branch.
See, I got to see all the things I love. I got to see Jim chug a beer, do his jaws. I got to hear
Yeah, I used
Paul
to do an
his-
Irish strip
Aye, aye, sir. Stand by to repel boarders. Poop the mainsail. Arr, Jim boy.
That's fantastic.
Beautiful.
I used to chug 4 beers during a song.
That's something to be proud of.
It's awesome.
It actually is pretty awesome.
It was a thing, like after I reversed.
You gotta pretend to chug beers like Sebastian Bach.
That's phony. That's fake. That's wait.
No, that's rock and roll.
Ah.
Him
Wouldn't you
and-
want to be authentic?
And Ted Nugent, when they started that authentic band with that guy from Biohazard.
Yeah, Damocracy.
Democracy.
Damocracy. Yeah.
I got to see Sebastian Bach solo doing the entirety of the first Skid Row record
Really?
last month. It just so happened, every year I go to Block Island in Rhode Island. It's a little island getaway place that I love to go to. And just
beautiful
by
place.
happenstance, I got married there, yep, and Jim was there for my wedding. Just by happenstance, the week that I was there, Sebastian Bach was doing a free concert on the beach on Block Island,
Wow.
and he was doing the entirety of this first Skid Row record. And so I got to sit there.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, on the beach watching the guy,
How
doing
crowded
all-
was that?
If it was 150 people, it was a lot.
Yeah, you had room, right?
Yeah,
You
it was
just
ridiculous.
chill
It was
and just
so
watch
yeah.
it.
Just
it's
standing
awesome.
there
All right,
right
is
there.
there anybody who performs on the beach for free that you would not watch? Mine would be James Taylor.
Yeah, right.
Fuck that guy. I hate him. I've seen Fire. I've seen me kicking your ass. That's what I've seen.
Nice.
And then later on, a couple of weeks later, I saw Ace Frehley in a parking lot of a car dealership.
Oh, did you go to that one? Was that an MPZ reunion?
Yeah, me, Tepper, and Lloyd.
I didn't know you were there.
Yeah,
I saw
I
the
was
picture
there.
of Lloyd and Allen, but I didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dan was in
Did
a
he
band
play
with Alan
I'm back in the New York groove?
I believe he did. Yes, in fact, he definitely
In the
did.
days since I was in.
So I got 2 free concerts of, old classic people doing their thing in the weirdest of spots, on the beach and in a
One
parking
much
lot
older than the
of
other.
a car dealership. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's
though.
great. The Sebastian Bach thing's pretty cool.
Sebastian Bach still
Did you
has
get to
it.
meet
That's
him?
the great thing. No, I didn't get to meet him afterward, but he's close enough where he sees you and you see him. So if you're like, yeah, you're like, all right, you'll acknowledge that you're rocking
He was
out.
great on fucking Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, he's in that?
They do a whole thing where he's a model train enthusiast.
Oh, Jesus.
And like fucking Patrick Swayze, like apparently has the best model trains. Everyone's like fucking Swayze. That's great. But I saw him too. He did Rocky Horror. He played Riff Raff on Broadway.
Wow.
And it was fucking cool as shit, man. I really wasn't familiar. I was like in high school. I really didn't know much about Skid Row. Like if you played me the fucking hits, I would know them.
Right.
But like I would also confuse them with Motley Crue. If you
Understandable.
know the same shit, like I wouldn't know one from the other.
Sure.
They say 100 years from now, people are going to talk about like Queen, Boston, and Pearl Jam all in the same room. There's a lot of like classical music we talk about when you mix people from like countries.
But he fucking killed it on Broadway.
He was in Jekyll and Hyde too, I think.
He
for a
did
while.
Jekyll and Hyde too.
That's
Yeah,
right,
after
yeah.
that for a while, and then I think he went back to playing rock and roll. I guess Broadway
What's it?
like, does its thing. Too.
When he did Jekyll and Hyde, he replaced Paul Stanley, right? And Paul Stanley was all bitter about it.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Paul Stanley was Phantom of the Opera. He did it in Canada for years. Like,
But he was up for the part.
Oh, is that what it
And,
was?
he got it.
and they gave it to Sebastian Bach. He showed up for free, I guess, and he stayed for the first act and left.
Wow.
Because I think it's in Sebastian Bach's book. Because
last night I was sitting in my hotel room thinking I was gonna be playing Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde.
so we went down the street. You know what street it was. People.
Yeah, he is like the craziest stage banter.
I love his stage banter. Paul Stanley. You know, I try to be like a combo like Freddie Mercury, Paul Stanley.
There's a
A
bootleg
little bit of
CD.
David Lee.
Hey, there you go. Right. Yeah.
But,
There's a bootleg CD that Alan Tepper actually gave me. It's called "People Let Me Get This Off My Chest," and it's all Paul Stanley. It's just Paul Stanley banter.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
All right.
You can find that on, it's on YouTube.
You see it? Oh, it's great.
So there's Taylor Hawkins from he made this album, from Foo Fighters, and it's his solo album, and he has a song called "Bob Quit His Job," and at the end, and it's got this really simple chorus: "Bob quit his job today," and then you hear Paul Stanley go, "Are you getting tired, people?" He actually took like recordings of Paul Stanley, and then Paul Stanley lives near them. In fact, like Paul Stanley's kids carpool with Dave Grohl's kids apparently, and like Paul would like hand him tapes and stuff, and Dave's like, "Wow, okay, I'll take this from you, Paul Stanley. Thank you, Paul Stanley." And Paul so Taylor played it for him. Paul's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. And it really works. It's like it's about this guy who quit his job on a Friday and he's out drinking.
And between lines,
and one of the lines that Paul Stanley says is, "Are you ready for the weekend?" But like I saw Paul Stanley at the fucking Brendan Byrne Arena. It was still called the Brendan Byrne Arena in 1990. Eric Carr was still the drummer. He wasn't dead yet.
You saw Paul Stanley?
I saw Kiss.
Kiss.
The Hot
I saw
and
Paul,
Shade
but yeah, it was the Hot and Shade tour, and Paul. That was my first concert.
Is that
Little
the
Caesar
Fire
and
in the
Slaughter.
Hole?
What's that?
Is that the album with Fire in the Hole? They have a crazy song called Fire in the Hole. It sounds like Van Halen. Not one.
there is a Van Halen song called "Fire in the Hole," but I don't know.
I wonder if it's the same. That's why they sound like Van Halen.
Okay.
But no, Kiss has a bunch of songs with fire in the title. I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In the 80s, I don't know. The
Generic
80s
title.
stuff is all like just.
Wait a minute, "Fire in the Hole" is a Gary Sharon era Van Halen song. I can't believe you even know that. Yeah.
Weapon 4.
Oh wow.
Dan is the only person who likes the Gary
I
Sharon
own that
era
record,
of
Brian.
Van Halen.
I own that.
Because Dan was really in the bank for Extreme.
I do
You're the
love
only guy I know who likes the entire Porno Graffiti 2. Or
That is a
not
great
Porno
record.
Graffiti 2, the one after.
Three sides to every
3 sides, yeah.
It is great.
What was that song? Wholehearted?
Wholehearted and wonderful. That's a great tune. Yeah.
The whole guitar solo into He-Man Woman Hater is pretty fucking cool. Porno Graffiti 2 is a good record. The first record's boring, and the third record's...
Well, the first record, they're very
Spuddy.
much trying to be Van Halen.
Yeah.
On the first Extreme record. I don't know.
But
how much of it you've heard.
no, it's almost like all the metal bands, they all followed a different suit.
I put him in the camel. I'll break his back and I'll fuck his ass, make him humble the old country way. Fuck the Gary Sharon. He fucking ruined the Van Halen.
30 episodes. I've not heard him do the Iron Sheik till today.
I
It's
did the Iron
amazing.
Sheik last week and this motherfucker, he don't record it. He's a piece of shit motherfucker. I put him in the camel clutch. I'll break his back. I'll fuck his ass. Like jumping to Jim Bronzella. Motherfucker.
Well, not doing anything else this weekend, so... Alright, Sheik, you got it. Yeah. Shut DiBiase, yeah.
It's pretty good, but sometimes it goes into Russian a
I
little bit.
better do the Arab Sheik.
It's the Russian Sheik.
Iron Sheik turns into Nikolai Volkov.
I've watched so much Iron Sheik video that it's ingrained in my head.
So the Iron Sheik was such a lame villain that they actually got Sergeant Slaughter, an American, to be an Arab for the Gulf War wrestling match.
I think
back in
Iron
the day.
Sheik was the champion for 7 years because he just wouldn't lose to anybody.
Yeah.
Like he was
The
just
champion,
like,
really?
I never respect this guy. I don't lay down for him. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He was just like a circus strongman. Like I hang with the Sheik of Iran, the Shah. Like he was like the Shah of Iran's bodyguard or some shit. Like an Olympian wrestler, and fucking just defected to America and like
Nice.
it's like I love America. Oh, get the car, you know. And but then he started doing crack.
That's right.
Really bad. Like my friend has a great story where he told me, he's like, yeah, one time me and my friends like met him and he's like, oh, come to my hotel room, we'll hang out. So they went, like, fucking Iron Sheik wants to hang out.
Yeah.
So they went and hung out with him, and they said he gave them money, like, oh, you go to this guy, you meet him here, you get me my medicine, and like,
Yeah, my medicine, right?
it was fucking, yeah, he wanted him to get crack, so they're like, we're not gonna go get fucking Iron Sheik crack. So they just kind of like drove around for a while, like brought him his money back, like, oh, we couldn't get it, you know. But like,
Did he read them out afterward for not
no,
getting
he was
it? Or
cool.
he was cool?
He fucking, yeah, like he was kind of, I guess, realizes rolling the dice. It's like they could have just taken his $100 and ran, but they're like, you know, like
least
fucking
they
Iron
gave him
Sheik,
100 back.
and you don't want him fucking after you,
Right?
Put you in the camel clutch,
and then
right?
fucking break you and make you humble in the old country way, as he says he wants to do to. He hates Brian Blair from the Bees. I forget what the.
Oh,
Killer
B. Brian
Bees.
Blair, right?
Yeah, B. Brian Blair. He hates B. Brian Blair. That was like the video that like made him famous.
The Killer Bees?
Yeah.
Right? Was it in the
B. Brian Blair, you're a piece of shit. He just fucking tears into him.
Yeah, the Bees. They were high flyers, yeah.
I like the
Nice.
high flyers. I would like the high flyers.
One of the greatest things I ever saw as a kid, one of the first wrestling matches I ever saw was Jimmy Snuka in a cage, jumping off the top of the cage onto a dude. That was like an
Superfly.
iconic
Yeah,
moment.
Superfly Splash.
Yeah.
He was from Clifton.
Wow.
He used to
He
hang out in
murdered
bars
his
in
wife.
Clifton.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
maybe.
And then he died.
He was like pretty fucked up before he died. I saw him in a bar over there. He was still a nice guy. Superfly.
Wow.
But he wasn't doing too good at that time.
The whole thing I never
guys.
understood, WrestleMania 1, it's like, oh, we'll just throw Jimmy Snuka in the corner. Like, let's not, like, give him a match where he can do some high-flying shit and be entertaining. He was my favorite wrestler in the beginning, and then he never fought, and then he eventually just kind of faded into obscurity.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the guys I think in those days they just lumbered around the ring, and here was a guy that, you know,
Acrobatic.
flew. Yeah, it was acrobatic, but I guess they didn't really know what to do with that at the time. I don't know.
After him, Ricky Steamboat did some of the high-flying stuff, which kind of filled the void for a little while, but then,
Savage.
yeah, Savage would do
Flying
some...
elbow drop. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not high flying, but it's Savage. Would
But just
throw
some
a
guys
drop
were a
kick.
little more athletic about it. Living Laser was probably the best, unless you know somebody better than
No,
him.
it got different. Like in the '90s, you got
Yeah.
like the Hearts, like Owen and Bret Hart started
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
shit
yeah.
like that, and like
Right,
the business changed. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't always gonna be big guys lumbering around a ring like fucking Frankenstein.
Right.
There was those guys like Steamboat and even like Flair. Like he didn't do, or Sting even. Like they didn't do high flying shit. But they did shit that was a little bit riskier. Like Flair would do that thing, they throw him against the corner, and he would like fling himself up and like.
He
land.
sold getting a beating better than anybody, Flair. Like when he was.
But there
getting
was
a beating-
acrobat. That's what I'm saying. There's like acrobatic kind of shit in that. Like when he
Like,
gets
so
thrown
the
into
way
the
he would-
corner and he
yeah.
takes that bump is like kind of like, oh, why is Ric Flair flying like that? But it's like that makes him look better, you know.
I probably talked about it on the show. There was a Royal Rumble where the only two people in the ring was a beat up Ric Flair and Piper was getting in, and they had some kind of a beef leading up to it. Of course, because McMahon always, every interview had something to do with a match coming.
Right.
And then Piper just beat the hell out of him. But Flair just arms moving, and when he hit the mat backwards, he would really hit the fucking mat.
Ric
Like,
Flair was the best bad guy. I
yeah,
think,
he's one of the
They would
best.
put him as a good guy and as a bad guy. I like Ric Flair so much better.
He had the best banter, like, whether you like me or you don't like me, learn to love me, because I'm the best thing going today.
I never See, that's the thing. When Ric Flair was a good guy, to me, he was always a bad guy. I was rooting for Piper. I was rooting for the heel NWO Hogan against Flair.
Actually, Piper was the good guy, and that was around the time when the anti-heroes started. It was like Piper when he lost the kilt, and I guess he wore leather pants and the hot rod shirt, and was kind of a good guy. He would beat up Brother Love and shit. Now maybe he still had the kilt.
Love you.
Yeah.
That guy's a great podcast too. Shout
Oh,
out
yeah?
to Bruce Pritchard. Oh my god, his podcast is great.
Does he sound like that, or was that all a fake
No,
voice?
that was a fake voice.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
But I'll tell you what, man. Piper, like, that guy transcended fucking wrestling. He was him and Jesse the Body were like the two, like,
Yeah.
you know, Hogan.
They
was
took the
in
villain
movies.
things, but yeah.
Hulk Hogan was in movies.
I thought
but
they all
Jesse
actually
the Body
act.
Ventura and fucking Rowdy Roddy
Yeah.
Piper could actually kind of fucking act. Like,
I love Ventura. Like, I love his politics. I mean, he's a little crazy, but there's a video online. If you ever get a chance to look it up, it's fucking Rollins and Jesse the Buddy. Yeah, they're talking. They're having a conversation about the things we have in common. Yes, I understand that you're a vegetarian too. Or I don't even know if it was that.
there's a great bit on Opie and Anthony where Jim Norton like really upsets fucking
Ventura.
and he's like,
How does he do it? Like, just like.
he's like, I forget what the fuck he's talking about. I think he's talking about Chris Kyle, that Marine that like made up that shit, like that he knocked out Jesse Ventura in a bar, and Jesse Ventura he's like, I never got knocked out by this fucking guy, and sued him, and like his.
Really?
He ended up dying, and Jesse Ventura ended up having to sue his widow, and like, it was kind of an ugly thing. But like fucking Ventura like got mad at like Jim Norton and like started like getting up and like kind of getting like he was gonna get not in his face, but like he was gonna get aggressive. He touched him. That's what he did. He grabbed him and he's like, "Let me tell you something. Like I was a fucking Navy SEAL. Like I was a Navy SEAL." He grabbed him. He said something. He's like, "I don't give a fuck if you're a Navy SEAL." He's like, "You're a fucking asshole." He started like kind of ripping into him, and he's like, "That's it. I'm done." And he puts down the headphones as he leaves, and he's like, "Good, get the fuck out of here with your fucking riff-raff hair from Rocky Horror." Because he had like the long. It's like a painful video to watch. It's like two people too. I kind of like. Like I love Jim Norton. I love Jesse the Body. But I also love to see like a good fucking train wreck just go down. And he's like, "I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to intimidate me. Like you're a big tough guy. What are you gonna do? Beat me up?" Like Norton's like talking shit to Jesse the Body Ventura. Like. You know, what is he gonna do? He's on camera, on the radio, live. Like,
Right.
You know, you
Venture's getting up there, and probably doesn't have the best of legs.
I could be intimidating to you, but it's a lot less threatening now that there's cameras on us, and it's like, yeah, everyone can see that. You know,
Yeah, like how far do you
if I
go?
grab Jim and I was a Navy SEAL, Jim.
That's why I'm not scared now, folks. But as soon as that camera goes off, I don't know what's gonna happen.
When the stream stops rolling, the blood starts flowing.
That's right.
Do you did they used to do the Friday night video fights when not video fights there was like a Saturday night main event when there wasn't SNL on. You'd have these Saturday night main events, and Ventura was the big broadcaster in the beginning of that until he retired. I think it was him in Oakland. I don't think it was Vince McMahon.
Doesn't he live in
But
like?
they had some good matches, which would like be quality. The headline was always like quality people like WrestleMania.
Doesn't he live in like northern Mexico on like some?
Off the grid.
Yeah, and like some fucking.
I'm off the grid in my compound.
It's compound. That's what.
That's who he was talking to Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins, do you have a compound? Who's your, should we do the asshole of the week?
The asshole of the week.
When is that thing coming back with the questions? Is it coming back?
Is it coming back? Well, it's my understanding that.
What is that fucking? Where is that fucking?
Well, that's
thing
why
that
I'm
you
here.
did?
I mean, I talked to Dr. Zom, and he needs basically the testicles of a broken white man. So
All
which one
right.
of you two is more broken?
I think that's kind of racist. Why is it gotta be a white man?
Yeah, I would like him to have a black man's testicles in a black man's voice.
So, well, that's what we're getting at. Once the brain gets put in, according to the German.
Can we get a Korean brain so it's good at math?
There's going to be some options of voices, and you, the listeners, can decide what Inquisitor's voice will sound like.
Oh, lucky you.
Ooh.
And so
Wow.
It may sound like Richard Dreyfuss. It depends on if I can get Paul to do a voiceover that week. It may sound like, Jerry Seinfeld if I can get Phil to do a voiceover.
What's the deal with this
If
dinosaur?
you get Phil to talk.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if it sounded like Phil? It's like, hey, I'm Inquisitor. Give me a question.
We should get a celebrity voice every week.
For Inquisitor, like he has a celebrity voice each week.
Interesting.
Well, that kills the whole storyline. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You work so hard on it.
No, I thought about it. I'm gonna get. Hold on, I'm gonna call somebody.
Who do you know?
I'm gonna call
Can you get
somebody.
somebody like Don Knotts? I'd love Don Knotts.
I can get Tony Danza. I can get Amos and Andy.
No Amos and Andy. I'll take Tony Danza.
I can
Do you
get,
teach a retarded person? You look like a person.
You see, I have some questions I'd like for you to answer.
Can you get Adam West on the phone? Can you get?
I can get Adam West.
Well, you see, Robin,
How many guys have you fucked, Phil?
But I think in the end, he's no longer going to hunger for questions. He's going to hunger for answers, and that's what he should have hungered for in the first place.
Oh yeah, good
Wow.
call.
Yeah.
The
So
first song I ever wrote, I used the word ascend instead of descend. We don't ascend to hell, we descend.
he's descend, yeah, because you're going down.
So
yeah.
that's the first robot you ever built.
Yeah,
So
that was my first.
that's your
song.
faux pas.
Yeah. I hit the ground running with Inquisitor though, like Motley Crue. First song, first album, they peaked.
I can't wait until
Livewire.
they become sentient.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I thought I'd find some parts for him by now because I have some ideas.
No disassemble.
What do they call that when the machines become self-aware?
Skynet.
No, but like, what is that? There's a word for when that happens.
Sentient.
So, the singularity.
Oh,
I think.
so-
yeah.
Well, but that's when actually the code becomes smart enough to write itself. So then humans no longer have control over AI. It'll just do its own thing, and we won't know what the fuck to do with it.
So it'll become
Said by a
2001.
monotone guy with a beard. And heard it here first.
You ready for it first?
So do we have assholes of the week, or what do you got? Do you have an asshole of the week?
Not really. You know what?
Will you play us out
I'll tell
during
you
the
the
asshole
asshole of the week. The makers of Cuisinart coffee makers. We're old. Coffee means a lot to us in the morning.
Yes.
Cuisinart coffee makers, terrible.
Huh.
We went through 2 of them just in the past 7 months or so.
Wow.
We had one, it stopped working, we sent it back. They made us pay $10 and gave us an errand and have to go bring it to the post office and ship it back or whatever. They sent us a new one, and that one broke.
You should just get a Keurig. Fuck the environment.
We went back to good old Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee.
That's
Mr. Coffee. It's what they do. It's in the name.
Yeah.
It's in the name. Mr.
Like Mr.
Coffee.
T?
They didn't have to be Dr. Coffee. They're just Mr. Coffee. They didn't have to go to medical school. They're just Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee is good.
Yep.
And I like the Black and Decker too.
So forget Cuisinart. Yeah, Black and Decker is okay too. So that's my
The
asshole.
way coffee should be. Black. And Decker.
And Decker.
Who's your asshole?
My asshole of the week is once again the Bluefield Civic Center, because apparently the shuttles don't run on Columbus Day.
Oh.
So we got a mass murderer day, so now I gotta take an Uber to the train. And when I got off, I typed in the Uber and it said it'll be there in 20 minutes. I can walk home in 15 minutes. So I just walked home. So that was that.
Ooh, how long did that take?
But Kev's my man. The drivers are awesome. The Kev, I told you last week,
The Kev.
I was crossing the street, I was late. He fucking stopped in the middle of the street in the morning, put on the blinkers, made sure I got on the shuttle.
Nice.
So shout out to Kev, you kick ass.
You should tell Kev, hey man, here's $5. Let me know when you're not fucking running.
Right?
So I don't waste my time.
They were like, download the app. I fucking put in the name for the app. Everything came up except for the one for the fucking town. So I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Download the app.
I'll have to go there and buy a new card soon anyway, so I'll ask him then. Alright, James, who is your asshole or hero of the week?
My asshole of the week
Your hero of the week.
is I have so many. I don't know.
They don't let you talk enough, Phil. I just want to say that too before we.
They don't.
I just wanted to say.
I
that.
find my way in there.
These guys don't let you talk.
But I got the quality though.
That's
Yeah, he
true.
does have-
That's
I'm
true.
snapping out
He
with
actually
the-
has
As a
facts.
regular
Yeah,
listener.
because
Like Jim just speculates.
I appreciate you.
That's
man.
right. Yeah, that's right.
I was like, yeah,
Paul
it's
just
like
say
this
something,
thing.
but he says it with authority, and whether it may or may not be true, and then Phil just going to go, wait a minute, what evidence do you have to back that up? Listen, I know, I just know stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it.
My asshole of the week is Rudy Giuliani and the stupid water. No. My asshole of the week is the campaign person for Trump who's showing this video of the press
Are they
getting
really
shot in the
showing
head.
that at a campaign thing?
Yeah, they're showing it at a campaign
Him
thing, and he
shooting
hasn't
the
run.
fucking-
And he
the
hasn't
CNN
run. He hasn't
people.
announced it yet.
He's
either.
talking out of both sides of his mouth. He plays it because he knows his base is gonna love that shit and get fucking off on it. And then he turns around and says, "We don't condone it." So everybody else is,
He's
alright.
finally did come out and say he
that
doesn't
came from a
condone it.
movie.
Yeah,
It's like somebody made that. I mean, it's fucked up that they show it. I don't know that they show it.
It's just that
I
if
just
you're
think
going to
it's hilarious.
violate the freedom of the press, I mean, that is a basic tenement of our democracy. And guys like Sean
not
Hannity should be
violating
fucking
anything.
outraged, but he's not, because he's serving his corporate masters. Millionaires serving billionaires. I'm Jim Cook, and I hate this shit.
Well, he turned his back on the fucking Kurds, so now the people that were fighting our war for us are probably gonna get slaughtered by the Turks.
Yeah.
That doesn't look so great. And then Russia and the fucking Iranians are gonna move in there.
Why did those soldiers get the works?
And let me ask you another question. What is the difference?
Philip.
What is the difference between North Korea and Iran? Because I don't see the difference. North Korea is all buddy with. Meanwhile, they have fucking slave camps there.
I
People
thought
are
this was gonna
dying of
be a joke.
starvation.
What's the difference between North Korea and Iran?
Thanks, Gilbert.
I'd like to hear the punchline to
It's
that.
your job to come up with a punchline. I'll be listening next week. I want to know the punchline to that one.
Oh my god.
They'll be listening on YouTube.
Yeah, right. I'll be
Are
listening
we
to it in
done yet?
December.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, this guy's tired.
Because we also have shows on YouTube now, people.
You want to know who my asshole is?
Yeah.
Oh, you get an asshole of the week. That's right. It's your show. You should get two.
It's me for making this poor guy learn the Goo Goo Dolls. So.
I know.
You can play it
you should
out.
play us
I
out.
already forgot
Play
it.
us out.
I already-
Play us out.
Play us out.
Brain eaters.
What's that?
Play something you know.
Play something I know. Will you sing? Will you sing Danzig for me?
I'll sing
Will you
Danzig.
sing Hybrid Moments?
Oh yeah, I'll sing.
Oh, that's right.
In the key of D.
If you want to scream with me. Moments like this never last. When the creatures rape your face, pirates open up the doors. Ooh, baby, when you cry, your face is momentary. You hide your looks behind these scars. In every moment, in every moment.
Big finish.
Give me a moment.
Nice.
Give me a moment.
Welcome to that podcast.
Love you.
Good night.
We out.
Check us out on the web,
Check us out on the internet.
on the Facebook or the YouTube.
We hope you enjoyed our present
You're like, what's the
Contempt
dragon?
podcast. If you have any questions or comments, or want to hear your band on the show, just write us at cultofcontemptpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to see back episodes of the show, youtube.com/Plan10 Studios, cultofcontempt.org, or right here on Facebook, Cult of Contempt Network. Even check us out on Instagram at Cult of Contempt Podcast. You want to reach Paul? It's at Paul Mauld on Twitter and Instagram, and Paul of the Living Dead on Facebook.com. Phil Perry, the writer, on Instagram, and his Facebook fan page at Phil Perry, the writer. I'm Jim Cook at Jim Cook on Facebook, or Jim Cook Voice Actor on Facebook. You want to get a hold of me directly, jcookvoice at yahoo.com. On behalf of Paul and Phil, I want to thank you for listening. We'll see you next week at 8:15. I'm Jim Cook. Transmission out. Stand by for contact. We hope you enjoyed our presentation of Cult of Contempt podcast. If you have any questions or comments, or want to hear your band on the show, just write us at cultofcontemptpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to see back episodes of the show, youtube.com/Plan10 Studios, cultofcontempt.org, or right here on Facebook, Cult of Contempt Network. Even check us out on Instagram at Cult of Contempt Podcast. You want to reach Paul? It's at Paul Mauld on Twitter and Instagram, and Paul of the Living Dead on Facebook.com. Phil Perry, the writer, on Instagram, and his Facebook fan page at Phil Perry, the writer. I'm Jim Cook at Jim Cook on Facebook, or Jim Cook Voice Actor on Facebook. You want to get a hold of me directly, jcookvoice@yahoo.com.